This is the ultimate power, because I'm going to teach you guys how to sculpt Shadow the Hedgehog out of clay. Hey guys, it's Supersonic Q with the 4th clay tutorial video. Last time we took a look at Mighty the Armadillo, and now this time we're going to sculpt Shadow the Hedgehog. His shapes and such are very similar to Sonic's, but remember that last time when we made Sonic, it was more like classic. So we're gonna make this Shadow 3D and stuff, like, you know, we're gonna make, like, you know, the 6 spikes and stuff. And Shadow does reasonably have more detail than Sonic does anyway. So without further ado, let's start sculpting this Shadow. Alright, got my black Sculpey clay right here. Remember, I buy these Sculpey 3 things. And this is actually a new one, so I'm gonna open it. Okay, so when I do Shadow, I usually start with the head, because that's kind of the most logical thing to do. Again, when you're sculpting this, you can sculpt it any size or anything like that, but just for the sake of this, I'm going to sculpt it small, or, you know, on the smaller side. And here's a huge tip, okay, right off the bat, I want to tell you guys. When you're sculpting somebody like Sonic or Shadow, and say you want to make it, you know, small, or you want it to be a certain size, take into account that the spikes add a lot of clay to the overall shape of the head. Like, I've made shadows, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make a shadow this size, right? And after I put all the spikes and stuff on, it's like, you know, this big. So take into account that the spikes add material to the clay, and it makes it generally bigger. Okay, so there's our good enough head for now, because I guarantee you I'm gonna have to switch things anyway. So now the ears, which are just regular triangles, like so. You know, just kind of make a ball or whatever and flatten it, do a triangle. We can probably put those on now. Just kind of, you guys know this drill now, just work them in. Do the same thing. There we go. Okay. So next, I would probably, going on this type of shadow, I'm gonna probably put the spikes in first because it looks like a cat right now, and that's bothering me a bit. So I'm gonna put the spikes in to say, so I can call it a shadow. Kind of like, oh, I guess not like Sonic, because Sonic had the two-dimensional spikes. I essentially just take a bit of clay, right, and kind of just roll it like that, and it'll become longer like that. See? So then, just shape it over your thumb, essentially, and then point it in the back. You may need to take some off of the front, because if we're going to put that on shadow, you know what I'm saying? So, then just work it in. Toothpicks I wouldn't say are necessarily needed for this part. Unless you had some wire, you could use some wire, but other than that, you probably don't need to. I haven't sculpted a shadow in a while, so I'm kind of curious as to how this is going to come out. It better come out good, because I don't like doing tutorials twice. I don't like doing anything like twice in a row. Like in a video game, this is like off topic, but in a video game, if you guys, you know, do something, or you beat a boss or whatever, you forget to save, or, you know, you lose at a boss and you shut your game off in anger, and then, you know, you didn't save, then it's like, oh, you gotta do it all over again, and it's just a pain. So, yeah, I'm not gonna screw this up. For Shadow, he has one spike that goes down, and then I'm pretty sure the rest of his spikes go up. He might have 2 that go down. I don't know. I think both of them go down. I'm gonna say they probably do. No, I lied. The one in his back goes up. There's one like that, one there, and then there's 2 and 2. I think that's how it is. I'm not gonna go consult any of my shadow figures in my collection, so I'll just go on this implication like that. And this spike may, well, I guess that's okay for that spike. When you're putting the spikes on, make sure you keep the ears intact, by the way. And I may just edit this part out because it's going to be very tedious and long, and essentially it's just going to be making the same spike over and over again. So, because we're already up to 5 minutes and I'm not even done with the head yet. Okay, that's looking pretty good right now for the spikes, if you guys can see that. It's kind of hard to see, but you get the picture. we'll still continue with this face. I will put the red on now. I think that would be the next best step, so we don't have to try and fumble with making the face look like, so we don't have to worry about maybe like mashing the face in so everything becomes all, you know, like into the black and then you can't fix it. So I just essentially, you know, roll it out and then just flatten it, and then I'll just place it like over wherever, like right there, say, and just put it all the way back like that. That's essentially how I make a shadow stripe. Make sure it's fairly well down too, because they will pop up if you don't make sure they're down, and then give you a bunch of like crappy hassles later on. I might make the front a bit bigger on that one. There we go. Okay. Okay. That looks pretty good. So I'll keep that. Same thing, I might edit this out too, just because of time's sake, and because it's essentially just the same thing, like 6 times. Because Shadow's repetitious like that. Maybe we should have put the... Nah, we can manage. Maybe you should have put, or maybe we should have put the red on the bottom spikes first, because they're harder to get into now, but you can just bend them out of the way. I know that's really hard to see, but you know, just fold them. This clay is really wet right now, like it's not even hard at all, so it's easier to do, but if you're using harder clay, then it's harder. Duh. That was kind of repetitious. I remember when, like, this Sculpey clay used to be like $10 per 30 color sampler thing, and they used to give you some colors like you couldn't even use because they were rock hard. Don't even ask me why they did, but it was like this really weird white color. I mean, and when you baked it, it was like 3 times darker than the actual block. I don't understand that. But that was in my early days of Sculpey. Like, really early. Finishing this up. Yeah, that looks right that he has another... that all his spikes are upward except the first one. I think that's right. There we go. Yeah, I'm like a perfectionist about this a lot of the time. But that clay didn't rip right anyway. Okay. I'll call this the end of part 1. We got the head down with the ears and the spikes. So part 2 will cover the face and probably the actual body with the limbs. Not the shoes or the gloves, just the limbs. But see you guys in part 2.